So here we have the front Dragonfire bumper. Modesto Auto Restyling are the guys that started this build, like I mentioned before, and they had a deal with Dragonfire. So we have the front bumper, and then they also put on the A-bar here in the front to help reinforce the roll cage. I've heard people say that it's a good idea to have this. If a deer jumps in front of you, it's not going to slam into you. Well, it reduces that risk. They also added this Blingstar roof rack, which was pretty nice. I like to carry a lot of gear with me, and I can throw a bag up there and other stuff, because these Mavericks do not have a lot of space in the back. They also added the backbone, which is this piece here, and that backbone allows you to mount a spare tire on the back. Also, they mounted the rear bumper here. So and of course it's all in Manta green, tied in really nicely. And this basically really reinforces the whole roll cage. So it's it's going to be a really tough build as far as, God forbid you ever rolled it. Now when you add a backbone to the roll cage, what happens on these Mavericks is that you pretty much eliminate the option to mount boxes within the bed, because this is cutting into, it's going to cut in and obstruct the box. So if you decide to go with reinforcing your roll cage like this, you're going to eliminate being able to add a bed liner, boxes, or any Can-Am bags. So I had to come up with another solution for that. So Modesto Auto Restyling installed the Dragonfire doors on this, and then Larry Moore, a friend of mine and co-worker, he printed out the labels for me for my logo. The doors, I had installed Pro Armor doors onto the Commander, and it's a little involved to put the doors on, but you get the right tools, you can get it done. Also, they come with nets, which is kind of nice. I like nets, but these don't come with nets. This back here, the way it mounts is I feel it's a little awkward, but the latch is really nice. Has a billet door latch and a lock, so you're able to lock it. So as you can see, you just push down on this and it releases the door, and then this is your lock. So that's locked and that's unlocked. Also, they did a good job of reinforcing the door. And then also I took Thermaltech barrier, heat barrier, which is the fiberglass with an infrared foil on top, or not infrared, but heat resistant foil. And then I sprayed it with leak seal. And that way, when the sun beats on the side of the door, you're not radiating all that heat into the cab. Because I tend to go on long runs and I don't have a bed anymore like I did in the Commander, I have to buy a lot of bags. And I got these Pro Armor bags that mount to the door. I had to mount them a little differently. I had to add screws, and they have a quick release buckles, and then on the bottom as well, so that you can pull them off and put them on and take them with you. They're handy, and they work out really well. I mean, I got stuff in here, the flashlight and other things that are really convenient to get to while you're just sitting down, especially when you have harnesses, because it's a little time consuming to get out of the harnesses. And then we have the Dragonfire mirrors. They do not collapse. They're stationary, but they're really solid. I mean, they're not moving. I'm not really sure what would happen if you hit a hard enough branch. It might bend it. But it's all billet aluminum, really sturdy. The mirror itself is convexed, and having side mirrors and not a rear view mirror, because the Commander, I had a rear view mirror up top, up here, and it was really nice because you can just look in the mirror and back up. But trying to back up using these things is really tricky. I mean, I get pretty close to trees sometimes, So, and sometimes I actually have to undo my harnesses to lean out, to look out behind me to safely back up. So these mirrors can be a little distracting. These are Dragonfire Nurf bars. I was looking at the Can-Am ones. They're accessories. And I thought the Dragonfires were a little nicer. They are more expensive, but they give you a lip here so that you can step on them and get to the roof, which, because I have a roof rack, that makes it helpful. And then the way they wrap around, they're fairly easy to install. I really didn't have a lot of trouble with them. I think they might have been easier than installing the Rock Slider Nurf bars on the Commander, because I had installed those, and they were a bit challenging. All this stuff is a little challenging. You know, you gotta bend things to make it work sometimes. The other thing that's been added is this bar, and it's a harness bar. That way you can do 4-point or 5-point harnesses on the rig. Get rid of the stock seat belts, which were a problem, especially for a passenger. Those seat belts tend to loosen up and then snap you back real bad. And then the harnesses, you know, we went with Dragonfire 3-inch wide harnesses, and they work awesome. The only drawback is it takes time to get in and out of it. Not a lot, but it just slows you down a bit. And then if you want to actually lean out of the vehicle and look outside behind you, you have to undo it, slip an arm out, and then look behind you. One thing I did do, because these seats are removable, you can pull these seats out, put them around a campfire or whatever, or you know, you're doing a trip and you want to use them as chairs, you would have to unthread these every time. And that would be a total pain. So what I had done, and I did some hunting around, and it took a while to find these things, and I got these quick releases. So you can just pop them off like that and pop them on. I did have to mount this bolt in there, drill it and mount it, but yeah, that works really well. So it helps with maintenance and pulling the seatbelt, the chairs out easily. These Dragonfire harnesses are really well made. I mean, they're full racing harnesses. Then you have your buckle here, and then your mid strap. So they work really well. So this here is a Dragonfire steering wheel. We decided to replace it. It's suede, and then it's a quick release, so you can pull it off, and that way it's like an anti-theft deterrent for people stealing your vehicle, rolling it off, and you can just pop it back on. There's oil play in it. When I was installing it, I really had to mallet it on there. The milling was a little off, but the steering wheel feels really good. But one thing I noticed is that this tends to bend quite a bit. And for the price of these things, excuse me, I was a little surprised at that this is actually, this piece is bending so much. And maybe they might go with a thicker piece of aluminum here.